Hello everybody, my name is Travis Nielsen. This is Dev Tips, and you are simply a better class of person just for watching this. This is the 6th video in a series I call CSS Basics. Today we're talking about specificity, which is a concept fundamental to being a good web developer. A few weeks ago we had my friend Los in the garage to talk about cascading. And aside from being informational, I thought it was hilarious to have him on the show. In that episode, we mentioned that the cascading nature of CSS means that it is read in a specific order, namely top to bottom. If there are two equal CSS rules, the browser will apply the one it reads last. For example, here we have two CSS declarations. The first one says P is colored red, and the second one says P is colored blue. The browser reads top to bottom, so in this example, your paragraphs will be blue every time. This is a result of the cascade. My little brother just had a baby just now, like while I'm recording. He sends me a picture of this thing. Check it out. He named it Raiden after the Mortal Kombat guy. It's pretty cool. But what if we want that paragraph to be red and for some reason we can't remove that blue style? I don't know, man, maybe there's like a biker gang who has your mom captive and they're like, you better not remove that style or else we're gonna take all your mom's cookies and eat them and you'll never have any more cookies. Why is the biker gang so interested in your mom's cookies? I don't know, what's with all these questions? Come on, let's get those cookies. All we have to do is add another tag name onto that first selector. Like this, article P color red. So what the heck just happened? Well, for one thing, we just saved your mom's life. Not to mention our cookies. Another thing that just happened is specificity. The first rule was more specific, and so even if there was a matching style later on down the style sheet, it was that first rule that was applied. Because it's more specific, 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 because it's more specific. By the way, sorry if this video comes off a little weird. I'm on like the 4 hours of sleep in the last 48, and that's when things get awesome, but also a little weird. That's when I'm like high energy, high creativity, and then I crash for 2 days. It's gonna be so freaking great. Now there are some rules happening here, and it's a little bit of math, but not too much, so here we go. A selector that names one tag is worth 1 point. A selector that names two tags is worth 2 points. The selector with the most points wins every time, despite the cascade. Okay, let's do another example. Back here we said that the paragraphs inside the article element will be red. And that's true, the selector has two tags in it. But let me throw a monkey wrench in your happy little life. Let me break your worldview here. I'm writing another style selector here that has two parts to it as well, just like the other one. Can you guess what will happen? Do you think that the selector with two parts that is the last to be red will be the one that's implemented? Wrong! Pay attention, you silly pants. Let's look at this markup render and whoo! Is your face shaking? Fear not, Squire, I neglected to tell you purposefully that a class selector is worth 10 points. So we have 2 points, 1 point, and 10 plus 1 points, which is the highest number of points. 11, yes, good. That makes sense, right? Well, wrong, because I lied to you. But I did it because I love you. The selector with a class in it is not worth 11 points. It's worth 10-1 points. Doesn't make sense? That's okay, let's talk about it. A tag with one selector is not really worth 1 point. It's worth 1 point in that first space. A selector with two tags is not worth 2 points. It's worth 2 points in that first space. A class in the selector is not worth 10 points. It's worth 1 point in the space that looks like the tens column if you can remember place values back in 3rd grade math. So not 10 points, 1 point in the second column counting right to left like numbers. To complicate the delicate and fragile world of CSS specificity, we also have to deal with ID selectors, which add 1 point to the hundredths column, and even then, inline styles, which add 1 point to the thousandths column. Isn't this awesome? Isn't this awesome? Now I want to draw your attention to the difference between the idea of class main P being worth 11 points and being worth 1-1 points. And to help me, I want to introduce you to something called a specificity calculator. Here at this specificity calculator, I can just enter in the selectors and it will give me the output of how specific these selectors are. So in the bottom here, I'm going to enter a class name of main. And we can see that main gives us 0, 0, 1, 0. That's how specific main is. And I want to try to beat that by adding a whole bunch of classes. So I'm going to add I'm just going to add 11 A's in this top column. Okay, and so here we have 0, 0, 0, 11. And I'm going to press this button that will order it by specificity. Haha! 0, 0, 0, 11 is not more specific than 0, 0, 1, 0, which is why every time your text is orange. Okay, I hope that I've opened your mind and you now have a technical grasp on how this works. But I want to show you a small real-world example of how all these principles come into play when you're coding CSS. I have some basic styles on this website on my right, and here I want to show you how I can be specific with how I style my links. Okay, I want all of the anchor tags to be color red. Okay, and I want all of the anchors in the aside to be white, color white, with a background color of gray here, and then I'll just decorate it. So some padding, get rid of that underline, and a radius, border radius there. Okay, and then I have an anchor on the page, which is a buy now anchor link, and I want to make it stand out a little bit, so I put a class name of primary on it. And so I want to call that primary to be color white, and then the background is a bit darker. There we are, just like that. We use specificity, and now we are awesome and great developers and very special people. CSS specificity is something that you need to understand if you want to take this seriously. So keep it in mind as you code them internets. And watch out for bikers that try to steal your mommy's cookies! Whoa! Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate your support. In the next video, we're going to look at all the fancy things you can do with CSS3. Or at least some of the fancy things, because there's a lot. If you learned something from this video, please share it on Facebook or Twitter or whatever the crap you kids are using. Now, we'll be coming to a close of our CSS Basics series in the near future, and I'll be looking to you guys for ideas of what kind of videos you want in the future and what you want to learn about. So if you have any specific questions, you can leave them in the comments down below and we'll do that. And if you have not yet, please subscribe. And here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. I know you love to watch Dev Tips every day. Whoa, whoa, whoa. God bless you, please, for subscribing to Dev Tips. It comes to your inbox when it's ready to watch.